My dear friends, I warmly welcome you all to your ACCA F1 subject Accountant in Business. As you guys already know that since our previous lectures, we are trying to understand the business environment and also the impacts that these environmental factors they have on the business and how the business actually impacts its environment. All right. So within these factors, we know that we basically understand the environmental factors by making use of the pestle analysis normally. The pestle analysis is basically an abbreviation of the political factors. L is basically an abbreviation for the legal factors, and we have studied the political and legal factors in detail as well. All right. The E is basically related to the economic factors, whereas the S is related to the social and demographic factors, and E is related to environmental or ecological factors. Environmental or ecological factors. All right. Now, within these different factors, we have already studied about the political and legal factors. We've also studied about the social and demographic factors, and we have also studied about the environmental and ecological factors. There is only one kind of factor that still remains to be discussed, and these are basically the economic factors. All right. My dear friends, the economic factors are basically factors that relate to the economy of the country or the location in which our business is actually situated in. All right. And you guys might know if you have studied economics before in any level of your previous studies or your education, that economics or economy of a society or a country is divided into two kinds, microeconomics and also the macroeconomics. All right. By microeconomics, we mean the small segments of the economy. For example, if we talk about an individual market, an individual customer, or an individual supplier or buyer, etc. All right. Whereas if we talk about the macroeconomics, so we talk on a bigger level. For example, the consumers in the country as a whole, the markets in the country as a whole. All right. So anything that we study on the greater level is basically studied under the heading of macroeconomics, whereas the items of economy or the parts of economy that we study on an individual level, on a small level, we study them under the heading of microeconomics. All right. So basically, we will be discussing the economic factors later on in our further lectures, because we will have try to arrange two independent lectures, one on microeconomics separately and one on macroeconomics separately. All right. So today we are going to study something else that relates to the business environment. However, the thing that we are going to study today is basically something other than the pestle analysis. All right. So we are basically putting a full stop. Rather, we are taking a small pause from studying the pestle analysis, because we will study our economic factors later on, as I have just told you guys about right now. We are going to study something else about our environment, and that something else is basically other than the pestle analysis. As you guys remember that in our previous lecture, the immediate previous lecture, we studied about the environmental and ecological factors. And when I told you guys about the environment, I explained that environment is basically anything that surrounds us. All right. Anything that surrounds us is basically part of our environment. Surrounding us is basically our environment. All right. So if we think by the perspective of a business or of a person who wants to start a new business venture, so obviously there are a lot of things that he has to consider about the environment. Obviously, some of those things relate to the environmental factors that we had discussed in detail in our previous lecture. You guys can refer to that lecture if you want to revise it, and you also have the books and the notes with you guys that you can always consider. All right. Similarly, there are some other factors that that particular business must always take care of. One of the important things in the environment that a business must look after or take care of is the number of competition or the number of competitors available. All right. Who are competitors? Competitors are basically known as people, they are also known as rivals. All right. They are basically people who are performing business of a similar nature. You guys may remember that when you were a child in your high school or in your junior school, you guys actually had different race competitions among the students, all right? Whether during the recess time, the break time, or at the backup time, or you guys might also have some sports period basically set or basically designed for these sports activities or these games activities, all right? So what happens in the race that two or more children, they basically start a run, and they basically are running in order to compete with one another. That means that they are basically in a competition. What is the output of that particular competition? Obviously some sort of prize or some sort of trophy that they would receive, whoever wins that particular competition. So it is basically that trophy or that prize after which all the students are actually running and taking part in the race. If you talk about businesses, so what are businesses actually striving for? Businesses are striving for profit, all right? And profit comes from the sale of goods or services, whatever those businesses are actually offering. So profit actually results from the sale of goods or services, whatever that business is offering to the customers, all right? Now we are talking about competition. So if we have a big competition, a huge competition, a huge competition means that there is a large number of competitors or rival firms, all right? And what are all these firms or all these businesses after? They are after obtaining the share of market. Share of market. Now this is another important terminology that I want to explain you guys before we actually move forwards towards our notes. You guys know that a business is always situated in some location, all right? Is situated in some location, in some location. For example, any city, any village, or any other area, all right? Now, the target audience for that particular business is basically the people who live in that area, that we also refer to as the local people. Now, in order to understand this concept properly, let me give you guys an example. Let us suppose that there is a location, a locality known as, let's suppose, the example area. This is the name of this particular location where we have our different businesses operating, all right? The name of this area is basically example area. Now let us suppose that this is Mr. A. He runs a departmental store. Similarly, over here lives Mr. B. He also operates a departmental store. And here is Mr. C. He also operates a departmental store. Now in this example area, there are three rivals or three competitors, all right? And what are their names? Mr. A, Mr. B, and Mr. C, all right? Now, who are the target customers of these three rivals or three competitor firms? Basically, all the people who are living in this example area. All right. So, the people, the local people who are living in this area, obviously, they have to buy their groceries from somewhere. They have to purchase different things of their daily life necessities from somewhere, and obviously, they'll have to visit some departmental store in order to purchase the goods that they need. They may either turn towards Mr. A for the purchase of the items they want. They can either turn towards Mr. B in order to purchase the goods they want, or they can purchase the same goods from Mr. C. They have open choice. All right. So it is something of common observation that if there are more than one firms or one business is operating in an area that have the similar operations, so most people living in that area, they may prefer one business over the others, or they may not prefer anyone and can go to any shop that is closer to them or near to them. All right. So basically, the thing that I want to explain you guys is that the customers, they are basically divided. The customers are divided. All right. And the other important thing is that the customers, they form the market. They form the market. A market is basically a place where buyer and sellers come together for the exchange of goods and services. All right. In economics, we define a market in this terminology that a place where buyers and sellers come together for the exchange of goods and services. All right. So, what do we mean that customers, they form the market? This means that the customers who are living in a location, actually, they are the participants of the marketplace in which these firms exist. All right. So you guys know that the customers are divided. Divided customers mean that some of the customers would be buying from Mr. A, some of the customers would be buying from Mr. B, and some of the customers would be buying from Mr. C. This means that the customers are actually divided in their buying patterns in respect of the firms from which they buy. All right. Or the businesses from which they buy. All right. So actually, these competitors, Mr. A, Mr. B, and Mr. C, they are in a competition to gather the maximum share of the market. Means they want maximum customers to buy from them. First of all, they will aim that all the customers buy from them, but since this is not possible for 101 reasons, therefore always it would be the aim of the competitors who are basically doing business in a particular area that all the customers or the majority of the customers, they buy from them. All right. So this is basically the aim of the different competitors. All right. So my dear friends, I was just explaining you guys about the competitors, that basically people who are performing business of a similar nature, they are considered as competitors of one another. All right. So whenever a business is about to start, and even those businesses who are in operation, they continuously look into the environment for the effects of the different competitors and the products that they offer on the business that we are about to start or the business that we are already operating. All right. So this understanding of the environment is done through an analysis that we know as the SWOT analysis. All right. The SWOT analysis. Previously, we studied about the cluster analysis and we still have to study about the economic factors. But today we are going to understand what the SWOT analysis is. And I'm about to explain you guys in detail what do we actually mean by this term. All right. So basically, today the topic that we are about to discuss relates to the competitive forces. All right, competitive forces. In order to understand the impact of the competitive forces on us and our impact on the competitive forces that are basically existing in the business environment, first of all, we make use of the SWOT analysis, the name of a concept that we have just written in front of you. SWOT analysis is basically a type of analysis just like the Peston analysis that we have studied earlier. SWOT analysis is basically an abbreviation of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. All right. You guys know what do we mean by strengths and what do we mean by weakness. Just like individuals, all individuals have some kinds of strengths and also some kinds of weaknesses attached to them. Same is the case with different businesses. All right. So normally the analysis of our strengths and weaknesses is known as the internal analysis of the business. Internal analysis, because the strengths and weaknesses is basically a personal matter for all individuals, and same goes for the businesses. All right. If the business has some kind of strength, this might be because of its skillful labor or investment in a machinery that no other rivals or competitors have, that gives it an advantage over the others. All right. And weakness might be that the business might not have sufficient cash to sustain itself. All right. So we will discuss these things in a bit detail. Opportunity means having an ability to act in the positive way. That means having a positive, having a chance to improve ourselves, or having a chance to gain better advantages or more benefits than the others. Whereas threats mean uh, a hindrance in basically uh, moving towards or achieving the objectives of a business. All right. So this is basically known as the external analysis. External analysis. Now we are going to study about them in detail, but let me first of all give you guys an overview about what we are about to study. Now, after understanding about the SWOT analysis that we will have to discuss in detail later, let me tell you guys another thing. Let us suppose that there is a business that wants to begin its operations. That means it is not in existence right now, but it wants to establish itself as a business. So obviously, it will have to offer some kinds of goods and services. Now, let's suppose that this particular business that we are talking about, it wants to offer, it basically wants to offer some cloth brands, a clothes brand. It wants to offer different kinds of clothes. Now, obviously, whenever this business will want to establish itself, it will first of all see and analyze that what kind of competition is available in the market in which this business is about to open. Now, upon an analysis, this particular businessman found out that there are three competitors: competitor A, competitor B, and competitor C, and they also offer different clothing brands. Now, obviously, if Mr. D, let us suppose that the name of this person is Mr. D. If Mr. D wants to introduce himself into the market, he will want to attract the customers. All right. And there's a question that might come in his mind, that why would the customers buy from him when there is already Mr. A in the market, there's already Mr. B in the market, there's already Mr. C offering his goods in the market and the same kind of goods. So why should the customers stop buying from A, B, C, and why should the customers actually buy from Mr. D? While Mr. A, B, and C are in the market, let's suppose from past 10 years, whereas Mr. D is about to begin his business. People have their trust and reliance on Mr. A, B, and C, whereas Mr. D is just an introduction in the market. So why should Mr. A, B, and C be left and the customers buy the same goods from Mr. D? For this purpose, Mr. D must offer something that is different from A, B, and C, so that the customers understand and realize that Mr. B is selling something that Mr. A, B, and C don't have. Or there is another important thing that Mr. D might consider. He might consider in adding more value to the products he will sell. When the customers will see that the value they obtain from purchasing from Mr. D is more than the value they receive when they purchase from Mr. A, B, and C, obviously they will buy from Mr. D. All right. So basically this process is known as the process of value addition. Process of value addition. All right, my friends, this is the process of value addition. Now you guys might have understood up till now that basically the competitive forces are very important in the life of a business, because they might dictate what kind of goods or services that the business must offer to the public. And also there is another important thing that the competitive forces decide, and that important thing is basically the pricing decisions. The pricing decisions. You will always have to set the price for your product by considering the prices that your rivals are setting or your competitors are setting. Considering the prices that your competitors are offering or setting. For example, you are offering an item for 20 pounds, whereas your competitor is offering the same product for 15 pounds. So obviously what do the customers want? The customers want to buy value for less amount. So you are selling the same good for 20 pounds, whereas your competitor is selling the same thing for 15 pounds. So obviously they won't be coming you to buy the things. They will shift towards your rivals, and obviously what will you lose? You will lose your revenue. All right, please kindly excuse me for a minute. So this is how the competitive forces might have an impact on the different businesses. All right, my friends. So now let us shift towards our notes and let us study in detail all the concepts that I have just discussed with you guys right now. All right. So my dear friends, in order to understand the internal and external appraisal means basically an understanding and an analysis of our internal and external opportunities and strengths. All right. So this is done by means of the SWOT analysis. All right. Whereas the second important thing that I told you guys was about creating value. So in order to understand how a value is created, there is basically a concept that we will study in this regard. This concept is known as the Porter's value chain analysis. Similarly, in order to understand the impact of competitors and their products on our products that we offer and on our business, we have a concept that we'll study in detail, and that concept is known as Porter's 5 forces model. All right. So if we sum all these things up, so basically we come up with the conclusion about the activities that affect the competition or the competitiveness. All right, my friends. So let us now discuss in detail about the SWOT analysis. As you guys already know that I have told you that by SWOT analysis, we actually mean the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. All right. So basically strengths and weaknesses are the two things that actually relate to the internal management or the internal structuring of that organization. Now, if you guys study over here, it is written that strengths can be financial and non-financial. This means that these strengths can either relate to money or things other than money. Similarly, the identification of strengths can lead to competitive advantage. Now, what is competitive advantage? Let me tell you guys. Competitive advantage is basically another concept of economics, and this is an important concept. Competitive advantage. As you guys already know, advantage means some sort of a benefit. All right. A competitive advantage means an advantage that our business has which enables it to make higher profit or return than its competitors. All right. This particular advantage that enables a business to make higher profits or returns than its competitors is known as a competitive advantage.